This is Eweadn GS01, one of the newer budget mouse from Eweadn, and this has a pretty familiar feel to it, which I will be discussing on the later part of the video. And this mouse was sent to me by Eweadn themselves, so do check them out for their extensive mouse catalog with other peripherals also. And for my video audience, you can buy this mouse from Easy Gadgets, who are the official importer of this mouse. And now to the mouse. So this mouse comes in a moderately premium box with minimal labeling regarding the mouse, where it highlights the feature and some other minor infos. And opening the box, at first we get the Type-C to A cable, which is braided and feels fairly premium to use as it's a soft and bendable cable. Then we get the generic charging dock, and I've seen this particular dock for quite a lot by now in different mice, which is made of a hard ABS shell, and more about this later. And after this, below the foam, there is the user manual with quick infos about the mouse, and there is also some grip tapes and extra feeds for the price, and the inclusion of extra feeds is really appreciable from Eweadn. So that's about it for the box contents, and now to the mouse. And getting the mouse out of the plastic wrap, we finally get our hands on the beautiful yet small Eweadn GS01 with a pretty interesting shape, which feels awfully similar to the ROG Gladius but in mini version. And that's about it for the unboxing. So this mouse has a pretty well built ABS plastic body with moderate amount of coating on the surface, but not exactly a nano coat. Then again, the mouse feels pretty good to hold on to. And as you can see, this is a pretty small mouse with the dimension as measured by me is about 119.6mm on length, 59.5 on width, and 41.5 on height, and all of them are in millimeters. So this makes the mouse have a medium size shape, which is not exactly small and not exactly large, and pretty much suitable for any kind of hand, I guess. And looking from the side, we can see the mouse has a pretty symmetrical shape, with the front half having non-aggressive inclination and the back half from the hump also have a unusually non-aggressive downward slope, which also makes the mouse pretty good to hold for a palm grip style. And this can further be seen on the back side, where you get a much clearer view of the left to right inclination of the mouse. Also, taking a look at the front, it also seems to have no weird slope or anything and seems to be fairly flat, as the overall right slope of the mouse isn't that much prominent. And you guys might have noticed by now, the mouse has a deep curve in the middle, which is due to the mouse being an arc shape, and this particular design gives a proper fit on the hand as well as the thumb while holding the mouse, which can also be seen on the bottom, where we can see there is quite prominent curve on the both sides of the mouse, implying the ergonomic design of this mouse. Also on the bottom side, we find 4 feet on the mouse conveniently placed all over it, which are PTFE plastic but OEM grade, so don't have any kind of high expectations for these feeds. Without that, the sensor seems to be placed slightly on the top rather than placing it exactly on the middle. And lastly, there is the dongle storage on the bottom part of the mouse, and this dongle supports 1 kHz polling rate, which is conveniently tucked inside. And not to mention, I didn't find any kind of visible or audible creaking of this mouse. So it seems to be the mouse is pretty well built. And speaking of the dock, as I mentioned before, is a pretty generic one, which is almost common across any mice you will see in this price segment. There is RGB lighting on the bottom, which can be pretty well diffused on the desk and gives a pretty cool look maybe on your desk setup. And this RGB can be changed with the button placed on the bottom of the dock. But the magnet of the charging dock isn't exactly strong, but also not that weak. The mouse seems to snap pretty perfectly on the dock while aligned properly, and don't expect it to hold tight to the mouse. Then for the internals, this mouse holds Pixar 3311 Ultra sensor, which is the overclocked variant of the OG 3311 sensor with a 22,000 dpi, and the MCU of this mouse is the PAN 1080. So this mouse is expected to perform fairly on both wired and wireless, given my experience with the previous PAN 1080 based mice before. And other than the sensor, we have the 220 million switch, but which one is this? I have to take a look in the teardown, which I'll be showing on my full review video of this when I tear it down. And the side switches are also from Huano, and the encoder or the scroll is from F-Switch, and I will look into all of this during the teardown. As for the battery, there is the 500 mAh battery, and they are claiming pretty high battery life of this, but I am yet to test that long, as I have received the mouse for less than 2 weeks, and the overall spec of this mouse seems to be fair enough for a budget mouse so far. As for the performance, as you can see here, in the polling rate tester app, the mouse holds 1 kHz polling rate pretty consistently without any kind of hiccup, which is a big plus for this mouse. And with my short session of gaming over the week with this mouse on an Artisan Type 99 mousepad surface, the mouse has a pretty well glide, and the tracking was mostly consistent but not the best. There were some minor hiccups during the first camera movement, and after getting used to it, that seems to be pretty much excusable, and the overall experience is what we would expect for a 3311 sensor, and this lower tier sensor doesn't really mean it will perform bad. Rather, it performs just like any kind of 45 USD mouse would perform, and it performs really good with how accurate the headshots were. Also, the credit where it's due. The mouse comes with the web driver, which is pretty convenient to set up but not the best. There is no language option on the website, or I didn't find it, and the web driver provides pretty basic functionalities of this mouse. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the performance of this mouse. So that's about it for my impression of this mouse, and I didn't go for a full review as I have been using this mouse for just over a week and it needs further testing, but the initial thought of this mouse is pretty positively aligned for my experience from my end, given the price is under 45 USD, and for a short while Eweadn is also giving it for 29 USD on their offer, which makes the mouse pretty appealing for the price. And yes, I'll be fairly confident to recommend this mouse for this particular price segment due to it having a pretty good ergonomic shape and kind of feels like the ROG Gladius Mini, which makes the mouse pretty comfortable for long duration usage, and the dock support with the web driver and the decently refined sensor gave me a pretty good experience while using the mouse. But for long-term performance overview, for that, the time will tell. Till then, stay safe and thanks for watching, and my social links will be added in the description box with all the purchase links of this mouse. So, peace.